Hey y'all, welcome to Fitting and Homemaking. My name is Sarah, and today we are going to be baking again. We are doing an apple cider donut bundt cake, okay? And this is a recipe I haven't made before, just like the pumpkin muffins, but I've been having such a good time doing these cozy fall recipes. And I have such great memories of actual apple cider donuts from growing up that I really wanted to give this a go and try it. Now, the donuts that I had growing up were from Edwards Apple Orchard in Winnebago, Illinois, which is like northern Illinois. And it was just like the texture, they would come out of the fryer and the inside would be moist and a little chewy and the outside would be crisp to the point where it actually kind of half separated from the inside of the donut. And they were just so delicious. We would eat 6 or 7 of them on the way home between the 4 of us and my family. So I'm hoping that this will turn out well. I know it's not going to have that texture because obviously it's going to be baked instead of fried. But I think I have everything that I need to get started here. I always think that and then I never have everything. But I think I have everything. So this recipe is from Cake by Courtney. As always, I will link it in the description down below. And let's go ahead and stop chatting and get started. Okay, preheat your oven to 325 degrees and spray the bundt pan with nonstick spray and then dust with the flour. Okay, 325. Okay. And then I'm gonna spray this pan, but I'm gonna wait to dust it with flour because in the past I've had an abundance of flour and I just didn't check in. I guess my husband's been making lots of pancakes and stuff. And I wanna make sure I have enough flour for the recipe. If I don't, it's not gonna be a huge deal. I have other flours that I can put in a little of and I'm sure it won't change it that much. So let's just spray this bad boy for right now and set it aside. Y'all, I totally just sprayed my forearm for the first part of the spray. I was not aiming it at the pan at all. Anyhow, let's put that off to the side. Okay, move my equipment down so I don't screw it up. All right, next we are going to mix the flour, cinnamon, nutmeg, salt, and a baking powder, and we're just gonna whisk that together into the medium bowl. So let me go see what those measurements are. As always, I think you can see it on the camera a little bit, but I'm looking at my laptop for this recipe since I'm unfamiliar. Great. Did remember my spoon this time. That's usually the thing that I absolutely forget. Let's see if we can get 3 cups out of here. Try not to spill too much of it. Yes, I absolutely need to concentrate when I'm scooping and measuring, so apologies for the long pauses. 1. Gonna be upset if y'all make me forget where I am in my counting because I'm too distracted trying to talk to you. I have definitely done that before when I've not been filming and then just had to dump all of the flour into a separate bowl and remeasure it because I could not remember what cup I was on, which was pretty unfortunate for me. 2, looks like there's gonna be plenty. Perfect. All right, and I'm gonna go ahead and put some flour in the bottom here. And I'm gonna take this over to the sink and just kind of turn it on its side and bang out the flour and try to get all the flour to coat these surfaces. And we're doing this mostly just so that the cake doesn't stick in here. But you also don't want to put too much flour in here and have it get kind of gunky. And boy, am I out of practice at this. I'm going to put just a little bit more flour up on the center part because I was not able to get flour on that. All right, that's about as good as it's going to get. Set that to the side. All right, so 3 cups of flour, done. 2 teaspoons of ground cinnamon. Well, that's not a very smart way to do that. I don't think I'll be able to get the spoon in there far enough because we're running a little bit low. 1-ish. That was quite a heaping spoonful. 2. It's cinnamon, it doesn't matter. The more cinnamon, the merrier, right? 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg. There we go. 1 teaspoon of salt. It's the first time I'm making the recipe, so I'm going to put the full amount of salt in. Seems like a lot of salt, but it is also a bundt cake, so it's quite a big cake. All right, 1.5 tablespoons of baking powder. If you've watched my previous baking videos, you'll know that I have been battling having packets of baking powder that I've been trying to get through. I finally got through all of them. So where are we? 1.5 tablespoon. Okay, so a 1/2 tablespoon is 1.5 teaspoons. Because 3 teaspoons equals 1 tablespoon. The more you know. I did say baking powder, right? Not baking soda. Fantastic. Okay. Thought I was putting the wrong thing in there. That would have been a lot of baking soda, though, for something. All right. And now we get to whisk it all together, if I am remembering the instructions correctly. I love the kind of like light brown color that cinnamon and nutmeg and all of the what I consider fall spices, like cinnamon, nutmeg, allspice, ground cloves, even ginger to a certain extent. I consider those my fall spices. They all look so nice and they smell amazing, which is great because I was cleaning in the house a little bit earlier and it kind of smelled like bleach in here. So much rather smell this than have a bleach smell. I do clean off camera, guys, just in case you thought I didn't. So I'm hoping this perks me up a little bit. I've been having like some major executive dysfunction issues this week, which, I mean, I guess that's par for the course when you're neurodivergent to a certain extent, but like this week I was really struggling to focus on anything, and then So I was jumping from thing to thing and just getting super duper overwhelmed. And I think part of it is, okay, that should be good. I think part of it is the upcoming holidays and like all the extra mom responsibilities that I have, like to make things magical, which I'm happy to do. I love doing those things, but it's like fitting it in with all of the other things is kind of stressful. All right. In a large bowl, combine sugar, brown sugar, and oil. Mix on medium speed to combine. All right, and y'all, like I was saying, I've been having like motivation issues, so we are using a hand mixer this time, not the stand mixer, because it was just easier. So let's see how much sugar. 1.5 cups of granulated sugar. Yes, okay, seems like a lot, but yeah, it's a big cake. And before I pour it in here, because it doesn't go in that bowl, it goes in the big bowl. Y'all know I have issues with that, right? All right, 1.5 cups. Granulated sugar, 1/2 cup of brown sugar. Oops, I didn't put that on straight. Or evenly, I guess. Can you put something round on straight? Not certain. All right, 1/2 cup. I always assumed it means packed if it's brown sugar. It doesn't say packed, but I always assume so. There's a big chunk of that. I'm going to take that chunk out. All right, 1/2 cup brown sugar. Oven is preheated. Okay. 1 cup vegetable oil. That's a lot of vegetable oil. I keep saying that's a lot of this, that's a lot of that. It's a big cake, Sarah. Just get over that part. Anyway, what I was saying before about like just been struggling a bit this week, and like I think it's the holidays and trying to make things magical and all of that sort of thing. And I think there's a lot of pressure on us to do that, and like Instagram and stuff doesn't help. I've actually been not on Instagram much lately. Well, frankly, because I haven't had time. And then just also that competitive sort of, you know, nastiness that can come up, or the comparison, you know, what is the saying? Comparison is the thief of joy, something along those lines. And I just haven't wanted to participate in that because I'm struggling enough in my own life to like kind of live up to my own expectations. I don't need to try to live up to other people's expectations. Mine are difficult enough. Okay, I need to mix this. Yes, mix on medium speed to combine. Okay. You guys get a break from my blathering. Get that so none of it comes up at me. All right, normally I wouldn't mix that long, but there's this one chunk of brown sugar that just does not want to break up, so I'm just going to scoop that out. Okay, now we need to add in the eggs and mix for about 2 minutes. We're trying to see if I have something I can, yeah, it's just a cup, so I'll just put the eggs in this one, the broken eggs. Yeah, so I don't know, I've been struggling with that lately. I don't know if other people struggle with that, especially as the holidays come, and like I'm struggling with breaking eggs still, apparently. But yeah, and I'm very kind of conscious of the content that I'm putting out and just trying to be real with that. Like, yes, I'm here wearing a frilly apron, and yes, I did clean my kitchen behind me before starting to film. But that's partly because I have to make supper later too, and like it's a pain in the ass if the kitchen's dirty. And it makes me not want to bake if the kitchen's dirty and all these sorts of things. But it's also so that, you know, we're not having our sloppy ass kitchen on the internet. But yeah, and the frilly apron, it just makes me happy. But you absolutely, you know, you don't have to have everything perfectly curated. I mean, this, and I just put the eggs in this, but the bottom of this is all busted up. We've, you know, kind of hammered that back down again. These are like old and don't match anything, you know, like just, let's just try to be real and try not to succumb to thinking that we're less than because of things that we see on the internet. I feel like that's especially dangerous around the holidays. All right, let's mix this. I'm guessing that's about 2 minutes. All right, there were also a couple of those pesky chunks in there. I was trying to get, all right, 1 cup of unsweetened applesauce, 1 cup of apple cider juice, 1 teaspoon vanilla extract, or the next ingredients. What are we supposed to do next? Add the applesauce and vanilla, mix to combine. Okie doke. I've got my unsweetened applesauce here. There she goes. All right. And the vanilla is a teaspoon. Normally I don't measure it, but why not, since these measuring cups are just right here convenient. There we go. Oh, no wonder that poured weird. Someone didn't get all of the wrapper off. Okay. And we mix that up. Okay, that's done. And then a cup of apple cider juice. Apple cider juice, not vinegar. Oh, I guess they put juice in there as opposed to vinegar. What did I say, 1 cup? All right. I bought this at the store and I was a little bit confused by the labeling, so it's just apple juice from concentrate, but they're calling it apple cider? I have not had a warm cup of it yet to verify. Ooh, almost dumped it everywhere, and you can see there's still oil in there, but that's okay. It'll get all mixed in. All right, assuming we mix that in too. Oh, shit, I think I was supposed to, third of the flour mixture followed by half of the apple cider, alternating. Whoops. Can't go back and undo that, so we'll just put some of this in. Mix it in a little bit so it doesn't fly up in my face. Very nice. Okay. Mix until no streaks of flour remain. Probably should have read that one first, but done. What does it say? The batter will be slightly thin, not thick, and that is accurate. As you can see it dripping off of here. Also, I think you're supposed to alternate partially just to keep the consistency consistent. God, I feel so stupid saying that. The consistency's consistent while you're mixing things in, but I feel like it's more important when it's like a thick batter, that you don't like dump all the flour in at once. But I think maybe with a wet batter, it's so that all of the flour doesn't fly up in your face and just sit on the top, which it did, but you know what? Didn't mind too much because it actually smelled quite lovely. So next we are just going to pour it into the bundt pan. Bundt. If you haven't watched My Big Fat Greek Wedding, go watch that. It's hilarious. And it says, bake for 15 minutes. Do the typical things to check to see if it's done. All right, I'm gonna unplug this. I'm gonna put this over by the sink. All right. Now watch, there's gonna be huge lumps of flour in here as I pull her. Not too bad. There's some, but not too bad. It smells really delicious with the apple cider in there and the applesauce and the spices. It's like a fall bonanza for your nose. Sorry guys, like I said before, this week's been a bit of a challenge for me, so I'm kind of in a weird mood. And I thought about not even doing the video today, even though it's one of my normal filming days, and that would put me like with my filming schedule, it would put me in a place where if anyone got sick, I would not have a video for you guys. So I didn't want to do that. So thank you for forcing me to do something other than work today. And it's probably the reason why the kitchen got cleaned before my husband came home too. So that's fantastic of you guys to do that for me. Let's go put this in the oven. All right, I'm gonna set, ooh, that's slippery. I must have gotten quite a bit of flour or spray or something on the floor. Maybe when I sprayed my arm, I also sprayed the floor. That'd be fun. All right. I don't want an alarm clock, although I guess that would work. I actually want a timer because I don't want to have to figure out what time it would be when it's done. I just want to put 50 minutes on here. Fantastic. Wherever I am, my watch will be with me, so I won't be able to ignore it. All right, I will see y'all when it is time to pour. Oh my goodness, when it's time to pull that baby out of the oven. And I'm gonna clean up in the meantime, and then I have another work project that I need to get done today. And maybe I will think about what to have for supper, because that's coming up soon. All right, I'll see you in a bit. All right, y'all, my timer is going off. Let's go ahead and stop that, and let's check to see if the cake is ready to come out or if it needs a little bit longer. I find a lot of the times, I don't know, maybe it's just my ovens, but I find a lot of the times, especially with the bundt cakes, they do need to stay in for a little bit longer than what the recipe says. But let's take a look. Oh yeah, I can tell that that is not done. That is still very, very liquidy inside. All right, let's put her back in and check again. I would say at least another 10 minutes. We'll check in 10 more minutes, okay? It smells so good though. All right, see you soon. All right, guys, it's been another 10 minutes. So let's give it another look and see if it jiggles like it did before when I put it on the stovetop before checking it. You know, if you see a certain amount of jiggle in a baked good, that it's not done. All right. Here was the other one. Let's give it a go. That certainly feels more solid. And there's just a little bit of crumb clinging to that. Let me check one other spot. All right, I think the extra 10 minutes did it. Let's go ahead and turn this off. And we are going to let this cool in the pan per the recipe instructions for about an hour. I might get impatient and try to take it out of that before then so that I can try it for you guys. But I will leave it alone for now, and I will see you for the taste test. And apologies, my mouth is already salivating, getting ready to try some of this because I wish you could smell it. It's so delicious smelling. All right, I'll see you in a little bit. 30 minutes, an hour? We'll see how long I can wait. All right, y'all, my husband went to go get the kids, so I need to hurry this process up. It's not quite been a half hour. This is still hot as all get out. I'm gonna try to loosen up the edges with a knife first. And this is a pretty old bundt pan, so I'm fine if it's scrapes a little bit. Let's see if we can get this out mostly intact. And you know what? If we can't, we just slice it up in a way that no one can really tell. That's a pro tip for you. Oh, where did I start? Okay, I started by my thumb, so I can't move my thumb. Otherwise, I'll be going around and around and around, thinking I haven't done that part yet. I mean, it all is feeling pretty loose. It's really just if the bottom part is or not. All right, I have my cake carrier thing here. So we're just gonna plop this bad boy right on here and hope for the best. All right, here goes nothing. Not too bad. The inside did collapse a little bit. So instead of doing a slice that I'm going to try, I might try to just scoop out that inside bit. So let's get a plate. And there's a little bit that came off here, but honestly, for it not being all the way cooled, I'm happy with that. And this cake looks like it is super moist. My husband just woke up from his nap and came out and he goes, "Ooh, something smells good." And I was talking to him, we were trying to decide what to have for supper. And I said, how about just doing breakfast for supper? I can make some French toast and some spinach and cheese omelets. And we can have some berries with either yogurt or whipped cream, because my husband made some whipped cream the other day that we need to eat. All right, I think I'll do that, and I'm just gonna try it over here. I'll stand over here, I think that still works. All right, eating cake with a spoon. It is really moist. It almost like dissolves in your mouth. That is good though. Oh my goodness. It tastes like the inside of the apple cider donuts at Edward's Apple Orchard. Not the crispy outside, but the soft, moist inside. And I can't believe I just said that on the internet. Dear God, please don't clip that, people. That is really delicious. I kind of do want to cut a slice out, but again, it's warm, so I don't want the whole cake to like collapse. So I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna put it not, actually, should I leave it on this stove? Because we're gonna be using the griddle for supper. You guys don't need to be involved in this. All right, y'all, that's gonna do it for today's video. This cake is so delicious. I'm so happy that I made it. It was fairly easy to do. Again, the recipe will be linked below. My house smells amazing, like apple cider donuts. And I am just going to eat the absolute crap out of this cake over the next few days. And maybe I'll take it into work and share with coworkers, because it is quite a lot of cake, and maybe not the healthiest thing for me to just plow through that all on my own with slight help from my kids and my husband. So I think we'll be sharing the cake. If you like this recipe, check out my other cozy fall recipes. Right now, they are all baking, but as the season goes on, I think I might throw some more cooking ones in there just to try out some new kind of cooler weather dishes that are in season. And if you like this kind of content, please like, subscribe, comment, share with your friends, pass on the love. And I hope you have a wonderful autumn day. I will see you the next time. Bye. And I hope you have a wonderful fall. Bye. Fuck, that sucked too. Think about what you want to say before you say it, Sarah. You want to say it's delicious. You want to say you're going to eat it. Maybe share with some other people because it's a lot of cake. You want to say like, subscribe. You want to talk about the other cozy fall recipes. And wish them a wonderful autumn day. Yes? Okay.